Hey everybody, it's Trend Rebel. This is Banana. Thanks for watching. Today on the one is a series we're putting together where we take a look on a 1 minute chart and break down the day so we can see the whole thing all at once. Today we're going to do Bitcoin. Haven't done that one yet. It's February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. And again, this is Trend Rebel on the one, and my name is Banana. So, what we're looking at here on this 1 minute chart is we have our 4 hour SMAs, which are kind of our home base. We utilize those as basically as pivots that we respect the most, those in higher time frames, unless we're trading at a lower time frame to look at. So, but here we're going to be looking at this one, and we're going to take a look at not only our 4 hour pivots, which are these kind of straight lines that go across, but today's pivots. These are the pivots that were provided on the charts for everybody prior to the open. And they are charts that these pivots are on here so that we can show the most important inflection points that we expect for any given ticker. So today, the range that we traded involved two very specific pivots. This is a box top at 97,864, is a weekly pivot, and a daily pivot here at a down channel center line at 98,939. Now you can see just by looking at this chart that these pivots worked out very well for us. So we'll go to what the potential open. Sorry, I have to keep moving the chart because Bitcoin doesn't stop. So anyway, here we opened up on the 4 hour 20. Rose up, bounced off that 20, rose up there, came back down to fall below the 20. It was rejected, pushed back up to its current price right now. Again, it tried to test the 4 hour 20 again. It wallowed around a little bit here to the 4 hour 50, which is the yellow line, where it bounced up. As it got close to the weekly pivot at that 97,864, it waned, fell a little bit, and then came back up and slowly came up to this top pivot of 98,939. So as you can see right here, when we dropped and tried to go through the 4 hour 20 and it acted as support, that support was our buying opportunity to again ride this all the way up to the channel top over here, or to this channel center line, I should say, at 98,939. At that point, Bitcoin was rejected. It rejected the pivot. It did not even penetrate it. So we then have our opportunity to play a downward motion towards the next pivot. So normally we'd like to bounce from pivot to pivot when we're day trading or scalping so that we don't actually take any longer risks. However, Bitcoin tends to move in directions that might be a little bit smoother. So you could have made this long play all the way to where we are right now, or you could have taken the more conservative route and shorted Bitcoin all the way from 98,939 to 97,864. That first rejection right there would not have been an indicator for you to buy back. Reason is that if you could look at some smaller time frame SMAs, you wouldn't have had support there. It would have been pushing against you. So you would have just let that there. It then tried to penetrate that pivot again once with some success, bounced out, 3 times, bounced out, and the fourth one's the charm. This fourth penetration of the pivot on this long stemmed candle down here, you could have looked at this to try to find support for a move further on down. However, I would have been cautious because of the weekly 9 here, regardless of the fact that it is at a down angle of 89 degrees, which would be in support of the move. Regardless of the fact that it would be respected, and it was, because it passed it and then back tested it before it dropped even lower. So I wouldn't have taken this trade here. However, it was a viable one, and there's some good reasons to want to do that if we dove into other charts. But the easy moves here, again, when you're looking out at this length of a view to try to figure out what's going on, the easy ones are to always use your 4 hour SMAs as boundaries and see what kind of respect they are given. You saw here the 4 hour 20 was respected. You could have played that all the way up to the 98.9 39 pivot, or at the very least to the 97,864. Both very good moves. The downward trend afterwards would have been an easier move too, to get down to this pivot right here. And again, that's where I would have stopped out. So I saw two easy plays for today for Bitcoin, and that is trying to find support here at the 4-hour 20, grabbing that support probably once it breaches the 4-hour 50 for the second time. Good buy-in right here. You've tried that penetration, gotten here, look for the breakout, get the breakout, and it probably would have been in somewhere in here and held through. And then you could have sold here at the pivot. However, you'll see this candle didn't stop at the pivot. It just went all the way through, and that's a 1-minute candle, so it's a pretty tall one, all the way up to here. At this point, we never have to touch the pivot before we exit, so we always try to exit close to the pivot so that we can lock in our profits, or you could have done so all along the way, although this was pretty clear sailing other than the daily 50 here, which would have give you some concern too. And then at that point, after clearing the daily 50, you can see it hit the pivot and then lost the daily 50. So losing the pivot and the daily 50 was a good indicator for you to try to get down to the next pivot. However, it would have been a long ride down, which is okay, but it just would have cost you some time going here. So thankfully, there's no options that I can play on Bitcoin here. So we go right to that pivot. The rest of the day, we had some bounces here. You could have played the range a little bit, but it wasn't too smooth. And I didn't see anything clear here to jump in on. And again, this play here, if you had some experience, you could have taken that, but it would have been, there's other plays out there that would have made more sense. Thank you very much for listening. This is Banana, and you have been listening to On the One.